The Lions. They went
Whew.
from 3-13 to 9-8, right on the doorsteps of a playoff berth. What are your thoughts on how they've done so far this offseason and what moves you want them to do moving into our previews?
Oh my God, absolutely tremendous. If you're talking about the Lions, first dub and first good sign of the offseason was, first of all, how you finished, how the team, even though the game didn't mean anything, I was like, you know what? When it comes down to it, the Lions are the type of team that's like, if a team, even if they can't make the playoffs, but a team can, Dan Campbell's going to be like, hey, man, we got to go out there and get it done. They go out there, beat the Packers, carry the momentum into the offseason. And then Ben Johnson's like, you know what? I like what this Dan Campbell guy's selling. I like Dan Campbell a lot. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, and I believe in what he's building. What happens? Jamal Williams left, gets his money, goes to the Saints. Like, good for him. I'm happy for him. But we're gonna go ahead and immediately get Ty Montgomery, who I think is
David Montgomery?
David Montgomery, yeah, who I believe is going to be a great fit there. Going to be a good pass catching back. Good 1-2 punch. He said he loves D Swift, and they're gonna wreak havoc. And then you had so many games last year you could have won if your secondary could have been within a yard of the player or actually knew where they weren't wide open. I feel like you left 2 games just on the door. You could have beat Seattle, you would have beat the Vikings, then you would have won 11 games last year if your secondary was like not even good, just slightly competent.
Not the worst ever.
And then
arguably.
you go out there, get 2 really solid corners, one of them being Cam Sutton, and then you go out there and you get one of the best deals of the offseason, guy who not a lot of teams want to pay. Philadelphia didn't want to pay him. You go out there, you get CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to the draft. You're like, the Lions took the approach. What do we need? We need veteran guys in our secondary. We need someone who can lead our young corners and help develop them, and some more leadership on defense. CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be a great leader for that team. Great locker room guy. You go out there and you get 3 key pieces, which gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want in the draft. So it's like, for me, A++ for the Lions, because like, well, they only went out there and got 3 guys on defense. It's like, you got them at the most important positions, and now you can go out there and get another monster on the defensive line to pair with Aiden Hutchinson, because the NFC is going to be pretty scary when it comes to pass rushers, and you have the chance to have one of the best pass rushing duos, not just next year, but if you draft another one this year and it hits with Aiden Hutchinson, who's going into his 2nd year and can relay some of that experience, and he's like, I got off to a slow start, this is how I adjusted, and then pass on some of that knowledge to him, you have the chance to have one of the top 5 pass rushers in the NFL for the next 10 years.
Exactly. So outside of Cam Sutton and CJ Gardner-Johnson, they also signed Emmanuel Mosley from the 49ers, which I think is a great move.
Huge.
And the thing that's really exciting for the Lions is also, yes, the thing that I'm upset about is they lost Jamal Williams. I think he was just a really great person in the locker room for him. But you replace him with, I think, a running back that's more talented than him and David Montgomery, and a pretty similar deal overall. Maybe slightly cheaper for Jamal Williams, but you get what you pay for. And then they lost Deshaun Elliott, who I love Deshaun Elliott. He's been a great safety for him. But you replace him with CJ Gardner-Johnson. So, like, you're replacing the players that you're losing, you're replacing with better talent. And then these are the draft picks that the Lions have for this upcoming draft. They have 4 picks in the first 55 picks.
Which is ridiculous.
So they have the 6th overall pick, which I think you got the right idea with going
Pass
an edge.
rush.
Yeah, definitely go edge rusher. You know, they got Will Anderson. Maybe he falls to you. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are probably going to fall.
Right.
And then if not him, maybe like there's been a lot of shit with Jalen Carter, but potentially Jalen Carter. Then you have the 18th overall pick. You can go linebacker.
I like linebacker at 18.
Yeah, absolutely. And then later in the draft, I think eventually they're going to probably move on from Swift when it comes time to pay him. So maybe draft a running back. Maybe get another wide receiver late in the draft. You drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 6th round. So go out there and draft somebody later in the later rounds. And then I like another pick that I really like for them, if he falls to them, Dalton Kincaid. I've said this about everybody who needs a tight end. This dude, I'm calling it now, Dalton Kincaid is going to be a monster out of Utah. This dude, he's the best pass catching tight end in the draft by a mile. He's 6'4", 240. He's a blocking tight end. He's a good run blocker, and he's quick and can create separation. This guy's going to be a monster. I'm telling you. If they can get him, that's a hell of a replacement for Hawkinson. He's going to be better than Hawkinson. And they still have Brock Wright, who they brought back. So
yeah,
they're in great shape.
Good player.
And the best part is they still have $10 million in cap space.